Hey everyone, today we are going to solve the Daily LeetCode challenge of 7th February 2024. And the problem statement is sort characters by frequency. So let's first understand the problem statement. So according to the problem statement, we have been given a string S and we have to sort this S in decreasing order based on the frequency of the characters. It means that the character that has the largest frequency should appear first in our answer, followed by the character that has a lesser frequency than it, and so on. So let's say in this example, the frequency of D is 1, the frequency of A is 3, the frequency of C is 1, and the frequency of B is 2. Now, since we have to sort it in decreasing order of frequency, so the character that has the highest frequency is A. So in our answer, let's say this is our answer. So in our answer, we will have 3A first. Since we have used A, now we'll see that the character that has a frequency lesser than 3. So it's nothing but B. So B is occurring twice. So we will be writing here B 2 times. Now since we have also used B, now the characters left are D and C. Now you can see that both of them have a frequency of 1. So in our answer, we can either write D first or we can either write C first. It won't affect, right? So let's write D here and after that we'll have C. So this is the answer. Now the S which was given to us, we were able to sort it in decreasing order of the frequency of the characters, right? So now let's see how are we going to solve this. So from here, it should be clear to you that we have to keep track of the frequency of each of the character. Now for keeping track of the frequency, what are we going to use is a hash map. So we will take a hash map and in that hash map, we will store the frequency of each characters, right? So in hash map, what we will have characters as the key and corresponding to that, we will store their frequency, right? So you can see that we have D and its frequency as 1, then A and its frequency as 3, followed by C and its frequency as 1, and so on, right? Now, once we have populated the frequency of each of the characters of S, what we have to do is we have to populate our answer. Now, for doing so, what we have to do is we need to have these all frequencies, that is 1, 3, 1, 2. We need to have all these frequencies in a sorted order. Then only we will be able to populate our answer. Now, the question is, how are we going to achieve this? So what we can do is we can take a priority queue. Let's say that our priority queue name is PQ, and in that priority queue, we will store a pair, right? And that pair will store the frequency and corresponding to it will be the character. So it will have 3, A followed by 2, B, and then it will have 1, D and 1, C. This priority queue will store all the values based on the decreasing order of the frequencies. So we will have all these frequencies sorted in the decreasing order. Now, once we have populated the priority queue, what we need to do is we will just iterate over the priority queue. That is, we will take its first value. So we will have 3, A and we will pop it out. And after that, what we will do is in our answer, we will add this A 3 times. So we will have A, and A. Now we will move to the next element. So we will have 2, B. Now in our answer, we will be adding this B 2 times. So we will have B, and we will pop it out. Now we will move to the next element, which is 1, D. Now we will add this D 1 time. So we will have D over here and we will pop this as well. And we'll move to the other element, which is 1, C. Now what we will do, we will add this C 1 time. So we will have C over here and we will pop this. Now since our priority queue will become empty, it means that we have got the answer, which is nothing but this one, right? So what we have to do is, let's do a quick recap. We will be first using a hash map to store the frequency of all the characters of S. So we will store the frequency of all characters in a hash map. After that, what we will do, we will populate the priority queue. We will populate priority queue, populate priority queue. Let's write it as PQ. And what it will have a pair that will contain frequency and corresponding to it would be the character. After that, what we will do, we will simply populate our answer until until PQ, that is the priority queue, is not empty, right? So this is what we are going to do. Now let's quickly code this. So we will start on by creating an unordered map of character and int. Let's call this as frequency. And what this will store is, it will store the characters and its corresponding frequencies, right? Or we can say that its occurrences. Now we will iterate over this string s. So let's say current is to s. And what we will do is, we will populate this frequency hash map, right? So we will say that frequency of current plus plus. Now, once we have populated this hash map, what we have to do is, we are going to create a priority queue. So let's say this is the priority queue. So it would be a pair of int comma char, and let's call it as PQ. So now what we will do is, we will populate our priority queue. So we will use this frequency hash map to populate the priority queue. Now, what would be the first element? The first element would be frequency, right? Because it's int. So it would be current dot second, comma, current dot first. Now, why am I writing current dot second over here? Because you can see that in our hash map, the second value is the frequency, right? And we want the frequency to be here in our priority queue. And after that, we want the character. So that's the reason we are writing current dot second. And after that, we are writing current dot first. Now, once we have populated the priority queue, what we have to do is, we have to populate the answer. So let's say string answer, it's initially empty. And what we'll do is, while our priority queue is not empty, we will simply take its current value. So let's say n is the frequency. So it would be pq dot top dot first. So it will give us the frequency. Let me write this as count. So this will give me the count, and this would give me the current character, right? Let me write it as current char. So it would be pq dot top dot second. Now, once we have got the current count and the current character, we don't need it anymore. So what we will do, we will simply pop it out. And after that, what we have to do is, we have to add this current character to our answer, right? And how many times it will appear in our answer? It will appear count number of times. So we will say that while count, we will add it to our answer. And here we'll simply return answer. Now let's run this. So it's giving us the correct answer. Let's submit it. So it got accepted. Now talking about the time complexity and the space complexity. Let's say n is the length of the given string. Then in that case, the time complexity would be order of n. Why? Because here you can see that we are completely iterating over the entire string s to populate the hash map, right? So it will cost us a time complexity of order of n. Similarly, here again we are iterating to populate the priority queue. So in the worst case, if all the characters of S are distinct, in that case, how many entries would be there in the hash map? It would be nothing but n. So here again, we'll have to traverse n times to populate our priority queue. And this while loop is also taking a time complexity of order of n. So it would be nothing but order of n, right? And the space complexity would be order of n as well. Why? Because here we are using a hash map. In the worst case, it will take a space complexity of order of n. Why? Because when S will contain all the distinct elements, then there would be a total of n entries. So it will take order of n space complexity. And in that same case, the priority queue will also take a space complexity of order of n. So it would be order of 2n, which is nothing but order of n only. So that's all about today's daily LeetCode challenge. Thank you.